a remote tropical island, a tiny human species fought for survival against real-world prehistoric giants. Who were they? Meet Leo, a member of Homo floresiensis, standing only 1 meter tall in the dense jungles of Flores. LB1 possessed an extremely short height and broad pelvis structure, optimized for swift locomotion through dense tropical undergrowth. In 2003, inside the remote Liang Bua Cave, researchers discovered a shocking, tiny, ancient human skeleton. This fossil was named LB1, representing a fully grown adult female human of incredibly small skeletal proportions. This miniature size resulted from millions of years of complete genetic isolation from mainland hominid gene flows. Their bodies weighed only 25 kilograms, similar to a modern 5-year-old Homo sapiens child's weight. This shocking discovery challenged every traditional evolutionary theory regarding ancient human body size and biological development. The deep caverns of Flores Island functioned as ideal shelters, protecting them from violent tropical storm systems. Scientists initially suspected a diseased individual, but subsequent fossil discoveries completely ruled out this microcephaly theory. They found bones of multiple other individuals, all sharing the same unique, miniature skeletal frame. The geographical isolation of Flores prevented large mammalian predators from crossing the deep ocean channels. The isolated world of Flores Island trapped them, forging a completely unique, divergent evolutionary path. Science calls this strange phenomenon insular dwarfism, a natural response to highly restricted island resources. When a large species is isolated on an island without predators, their physical size gradually shrinks over generations. Shrinking the body reduced the daily calorie requirements, protecting the species from devastating island famines. They survived successfully on the island for hundreds of thousands of years thanks to their highly energy-efficient bodies. But Flores was no peaceful paradise. It harbored monstrous, giant creatures that posed constant, deadly threats. The rules of nature twisted on Flores, turning it into an island of extraordinary biological paradoxes. To truly understand Leo's strange world, we must dissect the unique and dangerous ecology of this isolated island. Observe the Pygmy stegodon, a giant ancestral elephant dwarfed by island isolation, standing as tall as a horse. They stood only 1.5 meters tall, weighing less than a ton, providing an abundant calorie source. Pygmy stegodons evolved thick, highly textured molar plates to grind down tough, dry island savanna grasses successfully. In contrast to dwarfed mammals, Flores witnessed the phenomenon of island gigantism in other resident predatory species. Most terrifying was the giant flesh-eating stork, Leptoptylos robustus, which stood an astonishing 1.8 meters tall. The wing structure of Leptoptylos robustus was incredibly robust, spanning over 3 meters wide with immense flight power. Their massive, thick beak, measuring 35 centimeters long, could easily crush a hobbit's skull with one strike. These winged monsters hunted hobbit children and stalked Leo's tribe from high, jagged, rocky cliffs. Their claws were long and sharp as eagle talons, easily picking up adult hobbits from the ground surface. Alongside the storks, Flores was also ruled by aggressive, 3-meter-long venomous predators, the Komodo Dragons. Their bite was filled with lethal bacteria and blood-thinning venom, causing rapid shock and paralysis in prey. The Komodo's venom glands were located under the lower jaw, secreting blood-thinning compounds that paralyzed the prey. Leo and his clan had to maintain constant vigilance against these reptilian stalkers hiding in the dry grass. Additionally, Flores was home to giant tree rats, Papagomys armanvilli, which grew as large as modern cats. These giant rats did not hunt humans. They ate seeds, fruits, and served as a secondary calorie source. Despite living among giant monsters, Leo possessed one ultimate survival weapon, an extraordinarily efficient brain. Although their brain capacity was only 4 to 100 cubic centimeters, similar to a modern chimpanzee's brain size, this tiny brain was highly rewired in the frontal lobes, responsible for abstract thinking and logical planning. They possessed basic language skills, organized complex hunting plans, and engineered highly precise stone tools. Coordinated group teamwork was the golden key that compensated for their miniature physical stature on Flores. To understand their engineering skills, we must dissect the microscopic details of their sharp stone tools. These stone blades were chipped at a precise 35-degree angle, specifically designed to slice tough elephant skins. This tiny flint tool proved that Hobbit intelligence was not limited by simple brain volume. We will analyze the unique group cooperative hunting tactics of this extraordinary miniature human species. When hunting pygmy stegodons, Leo never engaged in direct single combat, choosing clever ambush group tactics instead. They divided the hunters into 3 squads: decoy distractors, flank surrounders, and cliff-top spearheaders. The Hobbit cortex possessed an extremely high neuronal density, fully compensating for their small brain volume. The decoy squad ran and made loud noises, successfully distracting the focus of the stegodon. While the target was distracted, the flanking squad quickly blocked all escape routes of the animal. Quartz flints were carefully gathered from riverbeds and shaped through continuous, high-precision mechanical percussion. And from the high rocky cliffs, Leo and key hunters launched sharp stone spears deep into the animal. The stone spearheads penetrated the stegodon's skin, completing a highly efficient, coordinated group hunting victory. Bifacial flaking techniques allowed them to engineer extremely thin, lightweight, and razor-sharp projectile spearheads. Analyze the calorie harvest. One pygmy stegodon hunt secured enough calories to feed the entire tribe for 2 weeks. Following a successful hunt, Leo led the group carrying the harvest back to the massive Liang Bua Cave. They utilized cave campfires to cook meat, eliminate dangerous parasites, and keep warm in freezing storm nights. But sky threats remained constant. The giant flesh-eating storks were always ready to dive and steal food. To counter the giant storks, Leo engineered a highly coordinated high-altitude cave defense strategy. They manufactured lightweight, streamlined wooden spears optimized to launch high into the windy sky. When the giant stork dived to steal meat, a rain of sharp spears immediately targeted the predator. This precise counterattack forced the predator to retreat, successfully protecting the vulnerable Hobbit children. Analyze the defense success rate. Sapiens and Hobbits successfully secured 90% of safe cave openings. Although they ruled the Flores ecosystem successfully, the miniature Hobbit species could not escape catastrophic geological forces. The Paradise Island sat directly on the active Pacific Ring of Fire, subjected to frequent tectonic earthquake strains. Around 50,000 years ago, a catastrophic supervolcanic eruption completely devastated the island of Flores. Thick volcanic ash blocked the sunlight for months, rapidly destroying the island's lush vegetation and plant life. Food supplies collapsed catastrophically, and the pygmy stegodons starved in massive numbers across the barren plains. Losing their primary giant calorie source, Leo's Hobbit clan entered a state of severe, bone-crushing starvation. They were forced to migrate toward the ultimate remote coastal cliffs, searching for seashells to survive. The miniature hunters coordinated to drive pygmy stegodons into deep mud flats, severely restricting the animal's physical mobility. Here, Leo and his starving clan had to battle venomous Komodo dragons for the scarce coastal resources. Under extreme, prolonged starvation conditions, the Hobbit physical strength and coordination collapsed rapidly. The dexterity of Hobbit fingers allowed them to securely bind sharp flint arrowheads onto wooden shafts. One by one, small family clans succumbed to starvation, deadly venom, and heavy volcanic ash inhalation. Around 50,000 years ago, the final Hobbit quietly died out, ending their physical reign on Flores. The campfire temperature reached 5 to 100 degrees Celsius, effectively tenderizing tough muscle fibers in stegodon meat. Unlike the Denisovans, who left the EPAS-1 gene, the Hobbits passed no DNA to modern sapiens populations. Yet, their 35-degree stone tool genius remains as a beautiful reminder of human evolutionary plasticity and potential. The giant storks frequently ambushed from high cliffs, diving downward at speeds over 80 kilometers per hour. The isolated island of Flores still echoes with the ancient, wild stories of the tiny, courageous beast hunters. The prehistory wilderness still conceals even greater, monumental discoveries that rewired our modern human biology and brains. Upon detecting the predator, Lio used a distinct acoustic alarm call to warn the entire tribe immediately. Like the discovery of fire by Homo erectus, which completely rewired human digestion and cranial anatomy forever. To explore this miraculous fire revolution that tailored our modern brains, click here to watch next. The Liang Bua Cave defense victory successfully proved that hobbits dominated their cavern habitats with absolute control. This monumental fire revolution laid the ultimate foundation for the global dominance of Homo sapiens today. Fire functioned as the first external chemical stomach of humanity, breaking down tough fibers for easy digestion. But frequent volcanic eruptions on Flores began, releasing millions of tons of carbon dioxide and toxic gases. The Homo erectus digestive system shrunk their stomach 3 times to redirect metabolic calories toward massive brain growth. Yet, their mechanical flint tools and artistic legacy still illuminate the grand museum of human evolution. Thick, fine volcanic ash settled deep in Hobbit lungs, causing severe, fatal respiratory blocks and circulation failures. The extinction of the Flores hobbits marked a tragic end for a brave, isolated branch of humanity. Preserved through 50,000 years of deep soil compaction, the tiny skull fossil remained beautifully intact. The final Pygmy stegodon collapsed from severe starvation, closing the most critical protein resource for the species. The final catastrophic volcanic explosion permanently sealed and buried the Liang Bua Cave on Flores Island. Famine and respiratory illnesses raged violently, completely shattering the social and family structures of the Hobbit tribe.